soul, savior, savior, come my way.
I just had a look at this game, and many people have had a chance to get little peeks and glimpses here and there. Let's talk about it. It's not your average post-apocalyptic game, is it?
I think I'm going to be sick.
People are familiar with playing post-apocalyptic games, but they tend to be told from the Western perspective. What you saw here is a very different, bleak, Eastern Russian-influenced vision of the post-apocalypse, and it's going to feel very different.
Stop. Exhibition station.
Artyom, we're here.
These guys have grown up with a completely different set of cultural influences. We see the apocalypse story told by the West, and they're inspired by Mad Max, and it's a lot of bandits in the desert and blue skies and bleached sand. And these guys are drawing from, decades of living under a bleak Soviet government, the literal shadow of Chernobyl hanging over Kiev. So they have very different, very real influences to draw on.
Absolutely. One of the quotes I drew from what I just saw was he said that the communists don't believe that anyone has souls.
Yeah. There's some interesting philosophy in there as well.
Let's talk about the gameplay aspect of it. Some of the things that I noticed were the scavenging aspect is amazing. You really have to make sure that you're looking around with all your faculties.
Yeah, so Metro is a blend of a lot of different styles. I mean, at its heart, it's a narrative-driven kind of first-person adventure, and then within that we have a lot of very intense shooting, kind of classic first-person shooter action that maybe we didn't focus on so much in this demo. This one really dialed into our sort of survival horror inspirations. So every resource you have to preciously guard and fight for. So that's air for your filter, light for your torch, ammunition for your gun, health. Everything is in short supply. We want the player to feel under pressure, vulnerable, threatened all the time, and hopefully you got that from the demo.
Knowing how much air you got left is a must.
And what about the enemies, some of the people that you face? What are they like?
So today we showed a lot of combat versus some of our mutants, and the idea behind these is you're supposed to kind of get a sense of what it may have evolved from in this accelerated time. So you saw, we call them the Watchers. They hunt
something with
they
the
hunt
giant
cats.
teeth and that them?
And the our demon kind of winged bat-like creature. So we have a lot of combat variety, whether it's against the mutants that you saw today, and then against humans it represents a completely different tactical challenge. That's where we allow the player to take a much more stealthy approach, maybe much more emergent combat gameplay. So lots of different styles here.
Well, now we're talking about weaponry. So what are some of the weapons that we look forward to? I noticed that the shotgun seemed like it was almost makeshift.
Yeah, so they've been down under the surface for 20 years. They don't have access to modern weaponry. There are a few guns kicking around, but pretty much everything else they have to make. So all the weapons are these crazy Frankenstein, cobbled together. And the weapon designer, his background is mechanical engineering, so a huge amount of thought goes into making these really plausible weapons that could actually work. And you saw they look like steampunk, but not even close. Like more amazing, like more mechanical. And amazing. I mean, we wanted them to feel very realistic, and for you to think, I could actually make this if I. Yeah.
Found a shotgun. That'll come in handy.
I wanted to talk about the ghost aspect of it.
This kind of supernatural aspect, again, it's really part of this Eastern vision of the apocalypse, and you kind of have this gritty realism of the weapons, and I think we approach the lives of the people in the Metro with this very realist approach. But then at the same time, you have centuries of Eastern European mysticism and folklore, which enable us to put this supernatural aspect into the game. We're keeping the story under wraps for now. It's a direct continuation of Metro 2033, our previous game. You step back into the boots of Artyom, our protagonist, and we left you at a very interesting crossroads at the end of the first game. He has some pretty deep consequences of his actions that he needs to deal with, and the story of Metro Last Light really tells Artyom's story, how he comes to terms with that, how he deals with it. I don't want to give too much else away because it's really important that players experience it in the game.
Absolutely. Well, it looks beautiful, and I look forward to playing it. When are we going to get a chance to play it?
It's coming out on Xbox 360, PS3 and PC in early 2000.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Like a stroll through the park, huh?